What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is War Commander Unshackled, and I am the immortal Dr. Phil. Since I have been to bed and got up this morning, a post has appeared on the forums, which is part 3 of Wrong Thinker's State of the Game. What I'll do is I'll enlarge this so everybody can bloody see the damn thing. Which, I can read it anyway, but what can you do? And it's more to the point of I wanted to comment on this personally before the other guys got in tonight. And as he said, he opened the 3-part state of the game with a look into the past, the dive into the technical side, and now the reveal into the future. The final chapter of the state of the game for the future of War Commander. As some of you guessed, you'll soon have the choice to ally yourselves with one of the major factions. Faction alignment initially ships as a flavor, a way to show who you support in the fight for sector dominance. Within the next few months, aligning with a faction will provide additional benefits. That is already been ripped out of fucking Battle Pirates and died after about 3 months. And to be perfectly honest, I expect the same thing to happen here. I really do, because it just, at the end of the day, it's just gonna fucking suck. Because that's the nature of the game. The game sucks, and everything content-wise is either designed to hurt you, to make you spend a whole bunch of money, and it just gets to a point where it's absolutely ridiculous. You all played last month's event. I heard the show. I heard the feedback, and the feedback was overly negative, other than the huge amounts of XP that were available for those who coined their way through the base. Because that's how you beat Kickside. You beat them to death with a wallet. Other than that, there is really no point. So you'll be able to see which units belong to each faction, which is about fucking time. When you ally with your faction, your command center icon, map icon will change to represent your allegiance. So it's mostly visual changes for the moment. In the following months, you'll see changes to the leaderboard, changes to the cosmetic improvements, and your base terrain changing to that faction's home terrain. So worst comes to the worst, if you end up with the Highway Zealot fucking Arctic base, you'd end up with fucking snow, regardless of it. You can switch your faction as much as you want, and it's free, which is slightly different to the Battle Pirates version, because once you make that decision is locked in. And transitioning does take several days. Joining a faction has no drawbacks, and will soon have more than mere cosmetic benefits. So they're going to add buffs to it eventually. You're also not required to join a faction, though you may remain neutral. You see, I hate faction stuff. It happened in Battle Pirates, it happened in Vega Conflict, and now it's happening in War Commander. War Commander is the oldest of the fucking games, yet it seems to get the worst treatment by any of it all, because it's just simply all this could have been done years ago. It really could have been done years ago, but no, everything lacked and everything sucked, and you all got fucked over for the last 5 years. And I really don't know why people continue to play after all this time. It absolutely baffles me. It really does. I've stepped away and come back and stepped away and come back and a couple of times. And I have since stepped away again. Does it mean I can come back in the future? I could, but I'm not going to, because there's no point. This is the part that does amuse me a little bit. What closing the divide really means. That statement right there, I don't like. Because his version of closing the divide and my version of closing the divide are two completely different fucking things. And it really needs to be categorically stated that they are two completely different things because we're two completely different men. It is the order of things. He's talked about it in the previous state of the game, but wants to expand on it a bit more. The future action down this path. And before I talk about the action, I want to qualify what this phrase means. As many of you know, we've had no interest in making the game flat. A critical part of War Commander is competition. Some of this is direct competition, who wins the fight. And some of it is an arms race, who can get the most powerful base or units. Now, there are those people out there, and it funds Kickside. Those kind of players fund Kickside. The guys that want every piece of tech, every unit at maximum level, the maximum base, and big workshop units, and be able to go out and beat whole sectors to death. Guys like Lonnie, guys like Scooby, guys like Leinster. There are a whole other set of people that do that every single day, who spend money just to beat somebody over the head, just because they can. And that's fine. If that's the way they want to play, that's fine. And I don't like the model that they use, because free-to-play models are designed to screw you. They really are. I'm not going to fucking sugarcoat it. The free-to-play model is designed to make you spend as much money in the shortest amount of time so you can continue spending money just to play. It's the pay-to-wait scenario. It's the free-to-wait scenario. Not the pay-to-wait scenario. Free-to-wait. And it's not a pay-to-play. It's not free-to-play either. It's pay to stay current. Not ahead, because if you want to get ahead, you pay a downside fucking more. It's Ron Thinker says it himself. Without those kind of people, there would be no game. There would be no Kickside. Kickside would have gone under years ago. We also know that it's difficult for lower levels to catch up, let alone get ahead, and the game is totally impossible to approach for new commanders. This divide is one we seek to address. And here's the suggestion before that even happens. Get on board with veteran players. The old players, the new players, the newer players. Talk to your community before you make the changes. Because if you continue to make the changes that are happening, then it's irrelevant. It makes this post irrelevant. If you're not on board with the community, then you can't make progress in closing the divide that you continually state. When I first said that, when I wrote that State of the Game post back in October, and I said what that first line was the great divide. And it's continued from that. And I'm quite glad it has. But closing the divide for you and closing the divide for me are two very different things. The steps for addressing them are twofold. Before the start of the next event, we will reducing the CC requirement to build 4 thorium storages from CC 8 to CC 6. As mentioned in the report card post, some of you desperately want faction units, but they just can't afford them because they don't have the storage. Faction units are a major part of the game, and we want you to be actually able to build the units you work so hard for. We'll be rotating set of faction units and tech, including gold tech in the gear store based on each month's featured faction. at the time of this posting, this month's faction is Corpus. High-level commanders will be able to fill in their ranks, and lower mid-levels can get started on the faction unit collections. Oh, bugger. This is it. Some of that is okay, but there needs to be more to this. You lowered the PvP gate, so low-level players and guys that are coming into the game are getting hammered on their first day in. It's wrong. It's really, really wrong. You can put as many punishments in there for the guys that do it as you like. You can not give them rares, or you can not do this or not do that or anything else like that. But at the end of the day, they're still going to go ahead and fucking do it. Because it's the nature of the game. If you go and roll through a sector and bubble everything you can, if you can hit it with air only from 40 below, you do it simply because you can. This is why people stop playing. This is why I stopped playing. Because everything that came across was horrendous. You're talking 3 months just to get a unit up. 6 months to get something higher than that. And continuing the processes of elite status units, omega status units. Where is the fucking line? Where do you draw a line under that? Because you don't. And that's the nature of the game. I would like to figure out what is happening in the higher level commanders bracket. We'll be able to fill in their ranks, and lower mid levels can get started on faction unit collections. Good. Let them do it. That's fine. We're going to introduce a new tier of baseline units for lower level and even new commanders. No longer will beginners be totally stuck having to wade through riflemen and mega tanks for months and years, but they will be able to jump in and have a better baseline of units to participate in the game with. New units will not be as strong as faction units, but they won't be utterly useless or outdated either. These units will be unlocked for everyone at the time of their release, which is still a few months away. Why? I mean, I agree. I do. That the baseline does need changing. But I have to ask what it's going to end up being. Is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? I don't know. When it comes out, somebody will have to let me know, because I won't log into the game to find out. Because I don't want to. I have no love for Kixeye. I have no love for War Commander. And the only reason I sit here and do this at 28 minutes past 7 in the morning is for everyone that will see this show later on today. And the 11 people that are currently watching this right now, which is a bit weird. I didn't post this anywhere, so. Making good, the legendary rework. One of the saddest misfires for me in recent memory was the legendary units, and we all know they sucked. We wanted these units to be extremely powerful and awesome throwbacks and some of the classic units that dominated the PvP space. But they were outdated on their release because they didn't deliver on the power bar. Even, this is the thing, even the Kixeye guys just don't realize how many people are so far ahead and how much Kixeye lacks the connectivity with its community. If it had connected with some of us, we'd have turned around and told Wrong Thinker that this thing was going to suck, especially in a high level base. Even with a range of 600 on the Hellfire, it just wouldn't cut it. It just does not cut it. And the legendary Hellfire dropped in around, I think it was about the same time as the Liberator. Now, the Liberator shoots down missiles, so that shit was never going to fly. And that's it. That's what happens. Now, I posted this on the Unshackled page prior to doing this show, and it's called Breaking the Bottleneck. For as long as I can remember, you guys have been asking for the tech center to not be an upgrade hub for both air and ground vehicles. Since late last fall, we started seriously investigating how we could make it happen. But we just couldn't promise it until we were sure we could deliver. Well, we're on the verge of making this dream a reality, and it's about damn time. Within the next 2 weeks, that's 14 days, and today is the 2nd, so by the 16th, I want to see this in the game. Air vehicles will no longer be upgraded at the tech center and will instead be upgraded through the hangar. We will be bringing the hangar stat values, repair times, and upgrade times in line with the tech center and academy to ensure consistency along this type of building. And there you have it. You are finally, after 5 long years, having your air and ground split. 5 fucking years this has taken. 5 years of begging and pleading and bitching and crying and complaining and then more complaining when it was asked thousands of times and nothing ever happened. And if it's only been seriously investigated since last fall, then somebody needs to get fired for that utter stupidity. And this is the disconnection between Kixeye and its players. Kixeye, back in the day when Kixeye first started, had players on board all the time. Trusted testers, covert ops, both groups which I was in. But thanks to some prick called Team India, it disappeared down by the wayside. If you get me to play War Commander again, it's going to cost Kixeye a lot of fucking money. And it just isn't going to happen. Because I cannot justify doing it. Because it just destroys your life. It really fucking does. But it's about damn time that this shit is happening. And I'll let the other guys comment while I get drunk and watch WrestleMania later, because I won't be around for the rest of the day. It's why I'm doing a show at 7 o'clock in the morning. Despite all these upcoming features, we're still continuing our efforts on reducing lag and improving our performance in meaningful ways. All of the features and improvements are based around our one constant. We want War Commander to be a fun and engaging experience for all of you. We want a game that has a variety of things to do, enemies to face, and rewards to earn. The War Commander team is the most passionate it's been in my entire time on the project. In every conversation, we're talking about how we can make the game better, and we're excited because we believe we're poised to have some really great months ahead of us, starting with the many steps listed above. Let us know how you feel about this new Age of War Commander in the comments below. Well, all I can say to that is good luck. There's been a lot of shit that has been stated over the last 3 days in all 3 of these posts. And while you admit some faults, it's not all on Wrong Thinker. To be perfectly honest, it's not. He has a team. He has his boss. His boss has his boss. And that's how that hierarchy works. Everyone is getting sick of the amount of shit that has to be done. You have events, you have onslaught, you have invasion, you have your shadow ops, you've got PvP season, you've got the faction specific tech bases. You've got this base and this base and this base and this base and metal bases and bases and bases and bases coming out every day. There are so many fucking bases that are coming out right now. There had to be another post pinned by Soloco on the forum just to give everybody the dates on which bases are coming out and what day. Why is that necessary? Oh, we're giving you better access to the tech. No, you're not. By being outrageously divisive and misdirection, yeah, it is true. You do get your techs from the bases when you do them all. But you get tech from the bases when you finish your shadow ops. You get tech from the bases when you do your boss bases on the Sundays. Why is it necessary to do this? The problems that continue to go in the game, most of them weren't even stated throughout these three posts. The bugs and the lag and the tech center split is all well and good. But somebody actually worked it out for me on the forums the other day. The year that they took away, added with all the content they shoved on top of that, actually doubled what was there. They knocked off 360 something days, and then they added on 830. Is that for 1 second acceptable? And the answer is no. It simply is not acceptable. And if you want people to get on board with this stuff, you need to sit down with its community and get to know us. You really need to sit down and get to know your community because you're so disconnected, you don't know what the actual problems are. You can see what some of them are via the data, but it doesn't give you the big picture. It gives you numbers, and I'm a numbers guy, don't get me wrong, and I can sit there and troll through data and tell you this is wrong and this is wrong and this is what needs to happen, blah 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 blah. All that needs to happen right now is for Kixeye to communicate with us on a one-on-one basis. Anyone on the Kixeye.com forum can contact me at any point. And I challenge them to do so. And we will sit down one-on-one and hash this out. I invite you to do that. You probably won't because it's Unshackled. But if it is decided that this has happened, I'll move it to my own goddamn channel so it's not on War Commander Unshackled. If that is a necessary requirement, we'll move it to a bloody Kixeye channel. But you need to connect with your community. And that is something that you are sorely lacking. And it's disappointing. Well, to everybody that's going to see this later on, haha, April Fools. I wasn't banned yesterday. It was a fucking joke. So get off your fucking high horse. Other than that, I want to thank everybody for watching. The guys that are watching now, all 19 of you that are watching at 20 to 8 in the fucking morning, you fucking mad bastards. Ah, fuck. Yeah. Thanks for watching, and I'll speak with you soon.